Uh-oh. Controversial video. Daleks. Genesis of Terror was released by Big Finish Productions recently as a part of the Doctor Who Lost Stories range. You know, because it's based on lost stories. This isn't really that lost, is it? Because this is an adaptation of this. Also, this is an adaptation of this. Now, I've no problem with Big Finish doing things like this because they did do this already with Return of the Cybermen, which is like another version of Revenge of the Cybermen. So, I've no real problem with that. I know why Big Finish have done this. The primary reason is because money. But also, it's Doctor Who's 60th anniversary, and something like Genesis of the Daleks starring Tom Baker, it's one of the first things that you think about when you think about classic stories and some of the best stories ever made. So they thought, let's make an adaptation. And the idea behind this is it's based on the original drafts of the script by Terry Nation before they were script edited by Robert Holmes for the story what we ended up getting on TV back in 1975. I've no real issue with adaptations because the idea of an adaptation is you can take an existing story, whether it be a comic, a novel, even an audio or TV or anything, and you can remake it, whether it be on a completely different medium or on the same medium. You're making it again and you are adapting it, hence the word adaptation. And I don't care what anyone says, this is supposed to be an adaptation, but this fails at being an adaptation. Yes, it is a retelling, and it does that. It sort of retells Genesis of the Daleks on Big Finish audio format. However, this is not the way to do it because it's the same. It's the same as what you get in Genesis of the Daleks. Therefore, there's no real point in getting Daleks Genesis of Terror. When this got announced, I thought, okay, we'll see what happens. Because as I said, Genesis of Daleks, really good, and you probably think, oh yeah, this would make a good profit for Big Finish because it's Genesis of Daleks, it's a great story, it has Tom Baker, what's not to love about it? Unfortunately, this has to go down as the most pointless release that Big Finish have ever done. Now, I love Big Finish, I've loved them for years. I've listened to a countless number of audios and some of them are like the best Doctor Who ever that you can get out there. I'm no way abandoning Big Finish. This, I would like to think, is a blip and hopefully they do not do this ever again. This is a shameless cash grab and Big Finish should be ashamed of this. Not only is this something which shouldn't have really been made, because how can you really remake Genesis of the Daleks? It's near perfection anyway. Maybe get rid of the giant clams. It's just baffling that we've ended up with an adaptation and you think, oh, there's going to be quite a few differences with this. There isn't. There's minor differences, alright? Minor differences, but it's mainly the same thing. The voice actors are different because a lot of the people who played characters from the original story are no longer with us, including two of our main cast. So we have Sadie Miller and Christopher Naylor filling in for Sarah Jane and Harry Sullivan, obviously. Tom Baker is back as the Fourth Doctor, which is great. And I've nothing to really complain about when it comes to the cast, because I think they do their job. They do what they're given with the script. Fine. Terry Molloy comes back as Davros in this, and one of the big selling points to me, and one of the things I was excited for, was hearing Terry Molloy as Davros as portrayed in Genesis of the Daleks, because obviously in the original story he was portrayed by Michael Wisher. But you only gets a couple of lines in this, because you only get Davros at the end of part 1, and then that's it. It's just pointless. There's just no need for this to get made. What gets me is Genesis of the Daleks is 6 parts long. So why did we only get part 1 and then all the rest was just sort of cobbled together? This is not the way to do it. If you are going to do a retelling of Genesis of the Daleks, you need to do the whole thing. Don't do like 1/6 of it. This is what frustrates me. Not only do you have like a retelling which is just essentially the same thing in the first place, you know, that's bad enough. The fact that they have the audacity not to just do the rest of the whole thing and, you know, maybe use a little bit of artistic license, because, you know, Big Finish can do that. They have written their own stories after all. They've been doing it for 20 odd years. It's just so baffling why they've done this. They have had such a great track record, and then this release comes along and it just screams shameless cash grab. This was done for the money. This was done because, oh yeah, this is Genesis of the Daleks. Oh, it's Doctor Who's 60th anniversary. I know, let's do this, and while we're at it, let's do the Ark in Space as well. And to be honest, I have no interest in that adaptation, that lost story, the Ark. I have no interest in that now. That's just put me right off it with this one. I heard bad things about it when it came out, and I just thought, no, that can't be true. This is supposed to be like Genesis of the Daleks. This is like God tier. The story itself, like, it's not terrible, because it is Genesis of the Daleks, and as I said, Genesis of the Daleks is an excellent story. So the story itself, yeah, fine, but it's not different. And it's just like, well, if it's not different and you're releasing it on a Big Finish audio, there's no point. Like, if it's a BBC audio and you're just doing narration over the top of it, you know what you're getting. You know, they've done that. That was done years ago with stories like this, along with many others from the classic series. This is just not the way to do it. This is just crap. I'm sorry. I really love Big Finish, but this is just... no. It's not good. I'm glad I downloaded this and not downloaded and got the CD, because, well, it costs more. And honestly, this is not worth your money. This is not worth your time. And this is not worth the effort to listen to. It's just bad, right? It's just shameless cash grab. Don't get it, folks. It's not worth it. Not worth 1 penny. And it really hurts me to say that, but I have to tell you the truth. But don't worry, I'll be back with a more positive Big Finish review soon.